Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Diane and my passion is painting and creating nature-inspired watercolors in my studio, which are easy for you to do too. I share all my paintings with you on YouTube, and on our website dianeanton.com you can find free downloadable sketches for all the videos to help you make the most of your painting journey. And if you'd like a little bit more, we also have channel memberships with loads of perks for you to enjoy. So welcome on board. Click subscribe and turn on notifications, and let's learn to paint watercolour. Hi everyone, Diane here. Welcome to my studio. Hope everybody's well and happy and the sun's shining on you. Today I'm going to do a little bit of a wander across a piece of paper with a brush and call it a painting. Hopefully it'll turn out to be something remotely resembling a floral, but we'll see. Might do some embellishment at the end, but it's going to be a slightly shorter one than some. This is an Etchr block of paper, you know, the stuff that's glued all the way around. When this is all used up, I'm going to have to buy a new one. I'll have to get a different one, I think, but for the time being, I'm using Etchr. Bockingford, Arches, any of those makes, you know them all, and you'll all have your favourites, so just use whatever you happen to have. And I've got my Art Nouveau, Kuretake Art Nouveau set of paints here to use. And the reason for that is that if you want to do a quick painting, you can't do any better really than Kuretake, although I have been looking at a few other brands recently. And I'm going to do a video on Sunday about Meaden and their paints, which are super affordable. So let's get splashing. All these colours kind of go together, but that doesn't mean to say I want to put, except perhaps that red. I'm not sure about that. It's like that was an afterthought from their point of view, and I don't know, I haven't really used that one yet. But I'm going to begin with some pink. And the great thing about this set, if you happen to have it, is that you don't need to mix your pinks up. You know how in most sets of paints there aren't any pinks, there's what they call it, perhaps opera pink, but you couldn't possibly put that on a piece of paper. And there's permanent rose, and that's also too vibrant. You have to mix it with something else to make it acceptable to the paper. But these paints are already mixed. They are, you know, what do you call it, toned down. So you can just go ahead and go splishy splosh. Yes, just like being back at school, isn't it? So we'll just let a flower accumulate on the paper there. Then maybe we'll put a little bit of darker in towards the centre and just let that play around on the paper. I'm not going to try and stop it. Maybe we'll do another one down here. These are no particular kind of flower. They're just floral elements. Just a way to spend some time. And we just had a rainstorm here. It just came down like it was the middle of the winter again. And all the pigeons on the grass outside wandering around trying to get airborne, and they couldn't get off the ground because, yes, thank you, Lottie. It was raining so much. Poor things. They didn't seem to be able to take off. Now it's blowing a gale. Come on, remind me, what month is it? It is March, isn't it? No. You see? It's May. It's May. Maybe. I'm putting some more pink up here in some loose and separated splotches. Put the leaves in a minute, and I'll do some more of those down the bottom here. Maybe, yeah, I'll just do some more splotches here. I really like these soft pinky colours. And put something in the middle there to ruin it. The colours do spread out. Sometimes you have to come back more than once to emphasise it a bit. But so we'll let that do that. And what should we do now? We need some leaves and things, don't we? So let's not do them in that colour. Let's do them in a bluish green, something like that, perhaps. Perhaps not. Perhaps we will. Perhaps we won't. Oh, I know. I'll tell you what we do. I've been meaning to do this. We learned a trick a little while ago where we just put blobs of water on the paper. Remember that? I did it for flowers. I'm going to try it for leaves today. So I'm just painting in sort of vaguely leaf-shaped water shapes like that. And then I'm going to pick up something greenish and just drop it in and let it flow. Varying amounts of water there, so there's going to be varying amounts of flow. I can make them a bit bigger, add a bit more shape. Now I can see what I'm doing. Oh, yeah. It's a good technique for learning how to let go and relax with your painting. Then we could put some darker greeny blue in the bottom there. Always fun. And then perhaps we might join them together with a stem. Okay, so there's that. And another way of doing something similar to that, let's go for a slightly different colour, would be to do some, let's see, where should we put it? Quite like that. Looks quite good, doesn't it? That's not bad. Well, we need a stem for this one, and then we're going to do some very simple leaf shapes. And just pull down the joining bit there. And what about something sort of greyish? Yeah, something like that. And then we could, using the tip of the brush, join these little flowers to their stalk. And this one too, perhaps. And we could do some leaves in that colour, I suppose, here, perhaps. And I quite like this idea of doing kind of empty leaves. It doesn't always look right, so you have to try it out and see. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how we feel about that. I'm not sure about that, actually. I don't know. We won't jump to conclusions. Let's just see how that looks when we're finished. And then let's think, what should we do next? Let's put in something a little bit orangey. And give that one some brown leaves. you get to this point and you think, oh my goodness, how am I going to join this all up? At the moment, I have absolutely no idea. Let's put some dark brown in the middle of that. See what happens there. We need to put something in the centres of these flowers. Maybe that would be orange. That perhaps might work. Something like that. And then if you do that, then we need some brown around the outside edge. Of the centre, something like that, maybe. And then, of course, we have to balance it out by some more orange down here. And a bit more brown underneath. Probably need some small leaves up here too, just blobs. And those ones are the wrong colour entirely, so we'll just drop some more brown in there and watch it run. Okay, so that colour, let us do some more empty leaves. Just completely empty though, without any lines inside. Maybe some down here. And this is starting to look as if it's going to want some, what do you call it? Embellishments. Perhaps. That's really nice orangey colour, that. That's really... Put a bit more brown in the centre of that one, because that's bleeding out quite a bit. And I think it's possible that these flowers need a little bit more pink in them, although they have blended quite nicely, but perhaps they're not quite dark enough in places. That one's quite pretty, isn't it? Thing is, you can do as much or as little as you want. You can leave them very, very minimalistic if you want, can't you? Or else you can come in and do a little bit more. And you can put veins into the leaves using the point of your brush, like this. And the brown ones, of course, the same. It's probably best to stick to the same kind of colour. So, you know, beige on beige and so on. I think I'm going to dry that, and then I think I'm going to come back with some pen and do a bit of pen work on it. Okay, so I've picked out a few of my Poetique pens here, Poetique pens, in some sort of neutral beigey brown colours. It's not particularly strong on these shades, actually. It tends to go a bit more for the sort of hot pink and bright yellow and so on, well, bright orange and so on, but there are a few. And so then I'm going to try using these, if they will work. We will see. Maybe they're starting to run out, I don't know. To sort of emphasize some shapes on these blobs that I've got here. So basically just scribbling in some flower motifs. Like this. You can do it any how you want. Obviously, it's up to you. You can do this if you want. You don't have to if you don't want to. So there's that, and then we could do the same thing down here. It's just a matter of, I don't know, just sharing ideas and sparking things off in your head. Sometimes you just need to watch somebody else doing something to realise that that's about the last thing you wanted to do. So, and this is a nice dark one, so I can go over on the outside edge of some of these leaves to give it a little bit more pizzazz, or etc. And you could do the same thing here. I think that's quite effective. Line doesn't have to be dead straight. It doesn't have to be perfectly even. It can just be a little bit you know. If it's anything like me, it's a bit haphazard. Oh gosh, I've been trying to do some crochet, and I've been crocheting all my life, and for some reason I just suddenly couldn't get the number of stitches to stay the same on each row. And it's quite difficult. You know, you get to the end of the row and you have to do this funny thing where you do a chain and then you turn around and go back the other way. But you have to get it in the right place. Otherwise, you end up getting narrower or wider all the time. I thought I knew how to do it. And today, or last night, I couldn't. So I had to sit down with Tamsin and have her look at me and make me count my stitches till I got it right. You know you're getting old when... Anyway, yeah, let's, no, not with that colour, that's too dark. What have we got here? Maybe we can put some linking foliage in the background. Perhaps we can take something up the back here. Behind. And maybe this way too. And maybe down here, perhaps. These brush pens are quite useful if you haven't got any. They're worth having if you want to play around like this. My dog is making a noise. She's trying to tell me she's starving to death. She might have a point. Her dinner is late. But there are more important things in the world than feeding you, Lottie. She says, if I fidget enough down here on the floor at your feet, perhaps you'll notice that I'm dying and you'll come and save me. Save me, save me. Yeah, but maybe I won't. Have you seen that wonderful video, a YouTuber, can't remember his name, I think it might be Andrew, but his dogs are called Olive and Mabel, and he takes them on long walks and he plays games with them and he does all sorts of funny things. He's so hilarious. He's a sports commentator and he found himself out of work when the pandemic struck, so he decided he would comment on his dogs, and it's very funny. Olive and Mabel, it's called. Is he called something like Andrew, Tamsin? Is he another Andrew? Oh, she's got her headphones on. She's not in the same world as me at the moment. Okay, we put some little, whatever they call these things, anthers, dots on here. Anthers, that's what deer have, isn't it? Or is that antlers? Ha ha. And we want a dark brown in the centre there. When you're doing this kind of thing, when I am doing this kind of thing, and I advise other people to think similarly, do not give up. You get to a point and you think to yourself, or some people call it the uglies. We used to have, no, we still have got one actually, although she's senile, Kieshond, a dog. They get to about 9 months old and they call it the uglies because when they get to that age, suddenly they look like something went very wrong genetically. But they grow through it and they turn out really pretty and beautiful. I think paintings are a bit like that. They go through the uglies when they're probably about 20 minutes old, if you do the kind of thing I do. And you just have to bear with it. You have to say, no, I will keep going and keep adding lines and keep adding colours and keep calm and carry on, as they used to say during the war. That's what you have to do. Keep calm and carry on. And eventually, the whole thing will come together. You hope. Otherwise, you've just wasted another half an hour of your valuable recording time and you never get to show anyone the video. Oh, that was funny. I was watching a video this morning and this lady, she said, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to anyway. She said, I was doing this all for myself and I never intended for it to see the light of day. I had absolutely no intentions of putting it on YouTube. But when I put it on Instagram, people were so interested in it, I decided I would put it on YouTube. So nowadays, Instagram is not a place to post something. It's just you. I don't know. Think about that, what I just said, and tell me if you understand, or perhaps don't, because it's all it's a Wild West out there. It's the Wild West. It really is. Yes. It's probably better to stick to talking about hot pants and paper dresses on the whole. But you can see what I'm doing here. I'm doing lots of layers of colours on some of these leaves. So going over them more than once, and put a second layer on, and then half of the leaf. Bob's your uncle. It's twice as dark. It's interesting, isn't it? Quite like that. Then I need to do something up here on these, and I'm going to go for the white on these blue ones that I painted. I know I'm going over time. I know this is going to be too long. I said I would stick to 20 minutes. But if you go too far past the dog's dinner time, they forget all about it. And they say, oh, all right, well, we'll just start asking for our biscuits now. Obviously, they don't want us to have a long and happy life. It's starving me. I know, I can hear you, Lottie. I can hear you thinking I'm starving. But what's more important at the end of the day? Making YouTube videos or feeding you? Pretty obvious, really, isn't it? Okay, getting there. Have I got any pale pink ones? Can we? Oh no. These are not hibiscus and they're not anything. They're just flowery things. So we'll just kind of put a little bit more shadow in the bottom there. Don't know if that's going to improve it, but you can never tell till it's dry anyway. And I think that needs a little bit of white there. Path for the bees. And put a bit white in the middle there like that too. Right. Yeah, okay. That's your stomach rumbling now, I suppose, is it? Okay, so I'm going to call that a day, I think. I think we're pretty well there now. And I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you give it a try, along with all the other 600 videos. Got to get going, you know, you're going to do them all. Right, okay, so one little floral venture this afternoon, and I hope you enjoyed that. I did. It was fun, quite pleasant. And I'll say goodbye for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on notifications, and join Patreon or the YouTube membership. And we'll see you there. So bye everybody. Bye bye for now.